That's totally fine.
I'm recording.
I'm recording
so
too.
Excited
Oh my goodness.
To like this episode.
Winging it. Episode 12.
He shall from time to time.
He shall from time to time.
I don't know the next part of that.
And you're just wondering, yeah, what shall he do from time to time?
Know.
Well, guys, you're just going to have to watch the episode to find out, which I hope you have, because we're going to talk about it. Welcome to Wingin' It, episode 12, The West Wing Podcast. Sallie. Oh.
Welcome. Hello.
Oh, there's a lot that happens in this episode.
There's a lot that happens. Let's just jump right in, because I'm pretty excited about it. I just looked at my notes,
gracious.
And literally my first note is, I love this episode, woohoo! I'm excited about it.
Indeed. And this is not one that I often rewatch, because I don't remember what happens in it, which I probably will now. But this is a big one.
In the first few minutes, we have one of my favorite lines ever, which I forgot about until I just saw my note. But we open on the president practicing the State of the Union, which we find out is what the episode's going to be about. Mm-hmm. He's practicing the State of the Union, and he's got his little presidential speech voice on, and he starts coughing, and we move over to CJ and Josh, and somebody says, the president doesn't look so good. And I think Josh asks, are his glands swollen? And CJ says, damn. You know what I forgot to do today? What? I forgot to feel the president's glands. This is one of my favorites.
Yes, I wrote that down.
She delivers it so well, because she's just so serious. She's like, damn, you know what I forgot to do today? I mean, and Josh has just bought it, hook, line, and sinker. I love it. CJ, you're hilarious.
The teleprompter screens, can I just say, they still seem like a magic trick to me. They're flat. It baffles me. I don't know why I think it should be bigger. How does it it's flat. It's not this big screen like they used to be. And it just blows my mind. And I know that's the kind we use today. And it's amazing the way they have it positioned, where it looks like he's not using anything.
But the teleprompter for Bartlett, unfortunately, has many, many typos.
What's up with that?
Our country is stranger.
Instead of stronger. And Bartlett says, I see we're spelling hallowed with a pound sign in the middle of it. The pound sign is silent. And for all you youngins out there, a pound sign is the original function of today's often used hashtag. Yes. It has 2 lines coming down and 2 lines going across.
That's a pound sign.
A pound sign. Yep, history lesson right here.
So glad we can educate the youths of America. The youths.
America. Yes, the youths.
So, they're practicing...
Speaking of the youths... Wait, Bartlett says that he's taking whatever pills that his wife, Abby, is giving him. And he says, is it possible I'm taking something called euthanasia? And Sam says, echinacea? And he says, that sounds more like it. And this brings me to my first point is, who the heck can spell echinacea? Because I certainly can't. I definitely can't.
Not me. Nope. I certainly can't.
There's red squiggly lines all over my notes with that word. I couldn't, if this were a spelling bee, I'd be out.
That's okay. You don't have to spell. It's a podcast.
That's really why we do it. It's because I don't know how to spell echinacea, and I can't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is a good substitute for actual words. We just have to speak things.
Yeah.
So then the president goes into the Oval Office. He's making it. They're asking him if he feels okay. He's saying, "I take all the pills," and CJ's like, "Okay, but do you actually take them?" And then we find out he really carries them around in his pocket like some crazy old person. And he goes into the Oval Office to take the pills. And before we get to the bigger thing, Sam mentions. I thought this was interesting. Sam mentions that they have not been invited to give the State of the Union. And I never knew that was a thing. So there you go, West Wing.
Me neither.
Teaching me stuff that formally, officially, I think it's the Speaker of the House, has to ask the President to come deliver the State of the Union. Fun fact.
It is a fun fact. I think we should have some sort of section about all the things that we learned about politics that we didn't know. There's so
a
much.
Lot. There really is. An embarrassing amount, I think.
Then again, I'm assuming this is true. But that's like, I don't know if that's better or worse than assuming all of Wikipedia is true. But I'm assuming that's true.
Yeah, I don't think something like that they would put in without it being true. I think it's probably true.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a very lighthearted opening to the episode, you know, and it's fun. It's, you know, Josh and Toby have a little exchange. Like, the era of big government is over. And Toby's like, when did that happen? And Josh said, this morning we had a meeting. You know, just like really big concepts. Kind of being thrown around. Right. But then, dun dun dun, they go from laughing about typos in the State of the Union, and then Bartlett is face down on the floor in the Oval.
Yeah.
What?
Not good.
What's going on?
It's not a good sign. It's not a good thing, Andrea. It's not looking good.
No. He's toe up from the flow up. Not good.
So, then we find out that the president is sick. He's ill. He's running 101.9.
And not in a good way.
No. Not ill. Not the kind of ill you want to be. But so then we find out he's sick, but then we go straight into the Situation Room with his 101.9 fever. Which I guess, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta take your sickness with you. He's cracking all kinds of jokes in the whole episode, really.
The whole episode, yeah. It was fun.
Yeah. Then the Mandy, in case we had a reprieve last episode from hating Mandy, she comes in and she's talking to Danny in CJ's office.
Yeah. Which, hey, here's another fun fact, which I'm just full of. But did you know, you might know this, but some people might not, so I'm going to share it anyway. Did you know that sometimes in CJ's fish tank, they put topical things in the fish tank? And in this episode, in the fish tank, there is a podium from which the president would deliver a speech. I think in another fish tank, there's like another episode, there's like a rocket ship when they're sending a rocket ship up, different things like that. So I had just read about it, and then I saw it in this episode, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, there's a fun little...
Way to go!
Yeah, fun little Easter egg for Western fans to look out for.
Yes, way to go, art department. Yeah. We like that.
This is the first time I'm going to be watching. Obviously, it's only like the second or third time I've watched the whole series. So now that I know that, I'm going to be looking out for it, and I will try and mention it when I see it.
Keep your eyes on the fish tank,
watch,
guys.
Also, before the Mandy and CJ scene, which is just we find out that the ceasefire has been broken in India and Pakistan, which is important. But also in the Situation Room, they have a very like elementary school map of like the Middle East, like blown up in huge proportions with not any very like descriptive detail. It's literally just like what you would see in your elementary school. And I was just like, really? Like that's what we're putting up on the big screen in the Situation Room? So that was a fun little thing too. Or a weird little thing, whatever.
Yeah. I think it gets better in time, like a fine wine.
Yeah.
But clearly my focus was shifting to Mandy and Danny.
Well, that's a fun scene.
Girl.
No, seriously.
No.
As if I didn't hate Mandy enough. You just
don't
do
she's flirting with the
dude that even resembles flirting with somebody that your homegirl is trying to get with or has a thing for.
It's girl code.
It is girl code.
And girl code is sacred.
Yeah. And Mandy just straight up broke it. And it's not cool.
Yeah.
She's just that kind of person. Bye, Mandy. I literally wrote my notes, bye, Mandy.
And Mandy, so then, like, he leaves because clearly CJ is just not feeling this scene in her office, no less. And so Mandy's like, CJ, it wouldn't kill you to be a little friendlier to him. And CJ's like, doesn't seem to kill you. Like,
CJ.
What in the world? Child, get out of here.
Yeah.
But then Mandy's there actually for a purpose, and she says that the story about Leo is going to break tomorrow because the whole thing is on the internet, which I think is hilarious because now something can break on the internet. It's not like secondary.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame nowadays. But yeah, bummer that the Leo story is going to break. I'm not excited about it.
Yeah.
Poor Leo.
No, I know, we like him.
But
Oy vey.
then, happy note, Abby's coming back. Hooray!
Yay!
Dr. Bartlett.
We like Stalker. Dr. B.
Yeah.
Abby.
Another of my friends has just started watching The West Wing, and she does not like Dr. Bartlett. And I know. Did you say well?
Well, I can see why people wouldn't.
I guess I could.
She's
too. I personally
she's a strong figure.
Like her, but I could see why people don't. So shout out to anybody listening that's in that camp. We feel you. We hear you.
Yeah. Tell us if you like her.
Yeah.
Or not. We want to.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
We want to know what you feel about the doctor.
Yeah, so I thought that was.
But her husband, President Bartlett, he likes the doctor.
Yeah, he does.
I think. Let's go to what we'll just call a notable quotable.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna drop this sick beat
Let's give it a shot.
Oh wait, no, not a sick beat. Just a snapshot of that.
You got ahead of yourself because you're so used to dropping sick beats. But this is not one. Sorry, guys.
Is it not?
It's notable quotable.
Oh yeah, that's true. This
is the West Wing podcast, Andrea.
Oh, that's my other podcast.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
fine.
Notable quotable.
Okay. Here's a notable quotable that we liked. Enjoy.
Very sexy when you're in doctor mode, you know that? Get me an IV saline solution and 100 milligrams of flumadine. Stat. I could jump you right now.
I could kill you right now.
My thing's more fun.
That was just delightful.
It is delightful. I really like that. As always, you'll hear me say time and time again, I just love when Bartlett cracks jokes. Martin Sheen does a great job at it.
Yeah. Especially when he's sick or on drugs or something.
More drugged up Bartlett. More sick Bartlett, I say. Oh.
I wholeheartedly agree. But it seems that there is a history of this collapsing happening.
Yes.
Which is perhaps not just the flu. And Dr. B, Mrs. B, is worried.
Yes. It is our first inclination that this might not be...
something's coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maybe he's pregnant. We don't know. Could be like that movie Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Can you believe that was actually turned into a movie? It's just...
Oh, no.
It's a terrible movie. Moving on to Tuesday morning, because, they're going day to day. Let's see. Josh is trying to figure out where the invitation for the State of the Union is, like why they haven't received it yet. And then Josh was told by Leo, or reminded, that he needs to pick a guy.
Yes.
And I love the whole... Because I've been an assistant in a lot of different positions... It's always weird when you get fragments of information, but you're not given any context. And so Donna's like, hey, Leo said you're supposed to pick a guy. Yeah. And Margaret was told by Leo, like, remind Josh he's got to pick a guy. And she's like, will he know what that means?
Yeah.
You know?
Fun Margaret fact. I was just watching Friends this morning, or yesterday, sometime recently, and Margaret had a little spot on Friends. Very, 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 very brief.
Where?
She's not even a named character, but Phoebe has found this police badge in an episode when she meets the cop, and Phoebe's like going around laying down the law, pretending to be a police officer, and Margaret plays this very, very rude lady who like put her cigarette out on a tree and like doesn't care about the environment and is very rude to Phoebe. And I was like, oh, Margaret, you're not like that.
Oh, that's fun. I remember that.
It's fun seeing little West Wing fam pop up on other things.
Yeah, I want to look all of these people up on.
Watch literally everything they do.
See what they're up to.
That could be the next podcast.
Yeah. Where are they now? The West Wing, where are they now?
Where have they been? Just literally everything about their lives. Yeah.
Who's on Twitter? Who's coming on the podcast first?
It'd be really fun.
Yeah. So then Donna wants Josh to pick her to be the guy. The one. And do they do this for real? Is this something we need to add to our education?
I think they probably do. We can find out.
They pick someone to be out of the room? They have to pick someone to be absent from the State of the Union in case somebody blows up the building.
Right.
And Donna wants Josh to pick her. It's cute.
Let's see.
And
in the United States, a designated survivor, this is from Wikipedia, so it's pretty much like the most true it could be.
Gospel truth.
In the United States, a designated survivor or designated successor is a member of the United States cabinet who is appointed to be at a physically distant, secure, and undisclosed location when the president and the country's other top leaders are gathered at a single location, such as during the State of the Union addresses and the presidential inaugurations. So, yes.
But only those two?
No, that just says such as. It's just any time that the president and, like, the vice president and then other cabinet members are in the same area.
I feel like that would be somewhat often. No?
Probably not. Probably not as often as we'd think. I mean, they're all doing their own thing. To the point that, like, I mean, then, like, if something happened, it wouldn't get rid of, like, literally the next. Like, there's always somebody missing. You know what I mean? Like, this is when there's literally nobody. Like, if they blew up the Capitol, there would be nobody down the line for, like, 20-plus people. Or more than that for the State of the Union.
Crazy.
Yeah. So,
It's crazy that they have to think about that.
That's a true thing.
Heavens to Betsy.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun Josh and Donna moment.
They're all fun, Josh
there is
Donna moments.
There is a long look as she leaves their little walk and talk. And again, it just made me wonder if that was by design or if that was just Bradley Whitford being a genius and having good chemistry with Janelle, and they kind of did that. I don't know.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask. We'll have to ask them. We'll add that to our list of questions for when they come on the podcast.
Can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Oh. So then Leo is prepping for the press briefing that he's going to talk about his stint in rehab and all of that kind of thing. He's working with Josh and Sam and CJ. And Leo lays into Sam for writing this presidential statement of support.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck, Leo? I know you're stressed, but Sam should show initiative, and he should do exactly what he did. And I felt really, really bad for Sam. It kind of made me feel bad for, like, Rob Lowe. Like, that's how far the sadness went. I was like, dang, chill out, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's just emotional, but it seems odd. Like, he has to know that, like, they're going to do... Well, maybe not. Maybe he's just trying to be, like, the logical one. Like, hey, as the White House, we can't put out a statement supporting a drug addict. You know? I don't know. But it does make you feel bad for Sam.
Yeah, I don't like emotional Leo. No. I don't like it one bit.
Well, it's very sad, too. I mean, Leo's just sad. He goes to his press conference, and it's just... Ugh.
And then I think there's some more Bartlett in the residence, and he's, like... He's watching soap operas, and it's just funny. It's funny to hear his commentary on ordinary things.
Yeah, it is funny. And he tells Abby that he never saw her study in medical school. And also, the bed has, like, it's not the presidential seal, but on the front, on the footboard, it has, like, a huge eagle and, like, something else. And it's just like, man, even the bed is, like, America. That was weird.
America. This is how America
And he has a moment where he tries to get up. He's like, I'm going to go to the office. And Abby's like, oh, okay. And he tries to get up, and he literally is just like, uh-oh. And, like, sits back down. And that was funny.
That's a real thing. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I always wonder why that is. Somebody who's got medical knowledge needs to tell us why. Because sometimes you can feel okay sitting in bed, and then you stand up, and you're like, holy cow, this is whole nother level.
Right. Agreed.
Don't know, guys. Science.
Science.
I'm
not really a science person. So.
And then Leo's press conference that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't have much to say about that. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. But right before that, I meant to mention this earlier too. I think this is when it is. There's some point where they're picking apart language of something, and I think they're picking apart the language of Leo's statement. And it's so interesting to see how much they, like, sort of craft that and like, not manipulate it, but they don't want to say certain words to, like, you know, I don't know. It's just interesting.
I would love that job.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because I just wrote down, I love watching this. It makes you think about how carefully they choose the language, but I didn't write down what language they choose, but I just remember being like, they like moved like 2 words around, and it changed the whole meaning, and it's just like stuff you wouldn't even think about, you know?
Yeah, it's the way that it's the connotations of the words that they're really concerned with. So, yeah, I think that'd be super fun. Yeah. I can't even imagine what it's like to try to get a job at the White House.
No, I can't imagine.
No, not even gonna try. Shoot for the stars, guys. reach for the stars. Reach for your dreams. Go to the White House and and do that job for us.
So what's next here? Sam gives his letter of support to the president. I might be skipping something, but that's the next thing I have.
No, that's
okay,
it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sam gives his letter to support the president, and Josh finds out, and he's like, Sam, I think it's Josh, might be Toby, but he's like, Sam, and Sam's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, it's just Sam being awesome. Yeah. He's going against instructions based on principle, and he's strong and assertive.
Yep.
And I
do too. I like that. And then Mallory comes to see Leo, which I really like because it makes us feel like not less sorry for him, but like it's almost too much to take him being so sad. So then to see Mallory come, he has somebody there to support him. He has a little bit of emotional backup, and that's just a little reassuring. It was for me anyway, as a viewer. I was like, oh, okay, good. Somebody's there to like, be sweet to him. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
Yeah, Mallory. But she gets Sam in trouble because she tells Leo about the letter of support that he explicitly did not want to happen.
And then he goes to confront them.
Right. And then apparently Mallory and Mrs. B are having some girl talk.
Yeah.
while that's happening. And she's like, don't go for the geniuses. They never want to sleep.
Yeah.
So
that's the truth.
I must not be a genius because I like my snooze time.
I'm not a genius, but my best ideas happen like in the middle of the night. So I can only imagine that geniuses are like that. But I thought it was weird that Mallory called Dr. Bartlett Abby. That's another one of those little things that sticks out to me. But she was like, Abby, no. Abby, really? And I was just like, would she? Like of her age? Like maybe they've been friends for a long time, but that would almost negate that for me. Because if I have family friends that I've been friends with since I was a child, I still call them Mr. and Mrs. Because that's what I grew up. At what point did she decide, oh, no, I'm going to call you Abby? I just thought it was strange. It's a little nitpicky of me, but
that's true. Unless Abby had said, like, call me Abby, she probably has. And she's kind of intimidating. So if she says to call her Abby, you better call her Abby, or she's probably going to have you like, sent away somewhere. Yeah. She's just a little intimidating. And then she tells Leo the big bombshell.
Yeah.
Abby does.
Yep.
What happened, Sally?
Did you say what happened?
Yeah.
Well, Abby, Leo sort of puts two and two together. He's like, what's going on? You wouldn't come back for the flu. And then Abby informs Leo and the audience, it's the first time we find out, that the president has a relapsing remitting case of MS.
Oh,
bombshell.
Man. This is a big deal, guys.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
It's going to be
going to be a big deal. I mean, that's not a spoiler, because the president having MS, you should probably guess that that's going to be a pretty big storyline, especially if his chief of staff doesn't even know about it. So we're led to, I mean, obviously nobody knows about it. It is a secret. So presidents and secrets are not good things. I'm sure there are a lot, but in general, the president keeping secrets is not a good thing. So the audience is sort of like aware that like, oh man, here we go with this.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if they like somehow were diagnosed with MS in the office, that would still be controversial.
Right.
But the fact that he had it while he was running and didn't disclose it, it's kind of like real estate. You just got to disclose all that stuff beforehand. Yep. But they chose not to. And now it's an issue because he just collapsed in the Oval. So anyway, that's
what I thought was
more to come.
What I thought was interesting is I wonder, like, would the president and Dr. Bartlett not have decided together to tell Leo? Like, I just thought it was interesting, Abby telling Leo, sort of unplanned. It seemed like something that the president would want to, like, be in on.
Yeah, and the whole time, I thought that Leo knew the whole time. I hadn't remembered that he was told by Abby.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. So, but anyway, so then we I wrote down cats out of the bag on the MS. But then Leo goes to see the president in his bedroom.
Where he's watching soap operas with Charlie.
Yes.
And Bartlett's trying to, like, downplay the particulars of his diagnosis and say, oh, attacks are brought on by fever or stress. And then Leo gets really sassy back. Like, he's
pissed.
He's kind of angry.
Which he should be. 'Cause I just think he should be. And it's an emotional scene. Leo's mad and he has a right to be mad, and he vocalizes his anger at the president. I don't know. I just find myself wondering, like, how would this be in real life? That it would be a huge deal. So,
yeah, it's a nice scene with Bartlett and Leo as friends.
Yeah.
So it's particularly when Bartlett was saying, he wanted to be there for Leo's press conference and the whole, like, I got up but then I fell back down again, and Leo's all, I know the feeling. Yeah. I mean, it's just so. It was sweet.
Yeah,
I really liked it a lot. It's a very sweet scene. And then, I think we skipped over the mention of this earlier, but Toby is in the Roosevelt room with, I don't know who he's really in the Roosevelt room with. Do you know?
I do not know.
I don't know if it was just members of the GOP or
I missed it. And I had my subtitles on, so I missed it.
So he's talking to people who are looking at an advanced copy of the State of the Union, and they want to talk about the National Endowment for the Arts, and they make all sorts of incorrect references about Arthur Murray.
I didn't really like that because I just don't buy that, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I just think people would be pretty careful about throwing their references around. Maybe so, but I thought that was kind of an odd scene because, like, if you're about to drop names, like, don't you think you would pick things you knew? Like, there were any other number of, like, things he probably could have been sure about that he could have said. I don't know, it was weird.
I mean, fair enough. Like, Rodgers and Hammerstein and Rodgers and Hart, kind of easy to mix up, maybe. And Arthur Murray and Arthur Miller, again, they're both artsy people.
Yeah.
Ballroom dancer and, epic playwright. Yeah. But it was kind of strange because Toby is correcting them, but he gets this idea and trails off mid-sentence. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it is a funny little scene, yeah.
The dude was like, Toby, you trailed off in the middle of a...
Yeah, that was weird.
And then he never finishes his sentence.
That was odd because, like, you're about to... That was weird to me.
And then also, I think there were two dudes and there was a lady. And I don't know, I'd have to rewatch it, but I don't think the lady said anything the whole episode. Or the whole scene. Nope. Which means she's just this, like, featured extra. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome. I'd be pretty stoked if my extras casting person put me in a scene with two people and Richard Schiff. I'd be like, well, that was a good day at the office.
Yeah.
So maybe we could get her on the show.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
Let's ask her
That's probably our best shot.
Let's ask her. Let's start with featured extras and work our way up to Martin Sheen.
Perfect. Great plan. I'm in.
Oh, God. And then we've got Lord John Marbury again in this episode, just for a moment, because he's helping them really resolve this skirmish in India, Pakistan, India. Mm-hmm. There's a mention of quid pro quo. Do we remember what this means, Sally?
You don't know what this means? Is that what you said?
I don't remember.
It's like,
do you remember what it means?
It's like one thing for another. I can't remember its literal. I can Google it. The literal thing.
This for
something
that?
For something is what its literal translation is. But it's from Silence of the Lambs. I mean, it's not from the Silence of the Lambs, but it is most famous. It's most famously quoted in the Silence of the Lambs.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Oh man,
I would probably
you gotta see that.
What? No, that's scary.
An FBI agent goes to talk to this famous serial killer to, like, pick his brain about stuff, and he tells her quid pro quo that, like, if he gives her information, she has to give him information. So that's a famous thing, quid pro quo. I mean, that's not where it comes from, but if you're referencing it in pop culture, that's I think what most people would identify it with.
Yeah, there's just Latin everywhere, all over the West Wing. But then Toby comes to the president with his idea that he got while he was in this meeting. But I don't know what it was about the reference to Roosevelt that gave Toby this idea about the era of big government not being over. Like, he wants to change the sentiment completely.
Right.
And I have no idea what the reference was. Maybe somebody who's smarter or more well-versed in politics and the history of America can tell me what he came, like, what spawned that.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure either. I'm on board with you.
I love how passionate Toby is, though, when he comes to talk to the president with Josh as well. Yeah. And he's just saying, like, hey, let's not use a line that polls well just because it polls well. Like, let's actually just inhabit our space and our influence and not apologize for it. And I like Toby a lot.
Yeah, Toby is nothing if not passionate about everything.
Sally doesn't like him as much as I do.
No, I really do love Toby. I just get annoyed with him, but I do love him. But I agree that I didn't know the motivation for this thing, so it didn't really mean as much to me. You know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't in his line of thinking. It was harder for me to be like, good sentiment, like good thought, like let's do this. I was just like, okay, whatever.
And then we get to Wednesday night, which is the last night in the episode. And Josh is teasing CJ, saying that she's jealous because Danny was flirting with Mandy, which, not cool, Josh.
Not cool.
That's not cool at all.
No.
And then it's cute because Sam starts saying, like, how confused he is about the situation with Mallory. And then she just walks right up and she's like, I read that statement that you wrote in support of my dad. And she, like, kisses him on the mouth. And then they, like, really start making out.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's hilarious.
Yep. It is pretty funny.
And then he's more confused.
That's 2 episodes in a row that Sorkin has written the woman sort of taking charge in the relationship, too.
Yeah. You're right. So for as much flack as he might get from the way that he writes women, I don't know.
There are still strong moments.
I don't know.
I think it's a fun moment. It gives CJ a little bit of an idea. Then CJ takes charge of her relationship, too.
Yeah, so then there's more kissing.
Yep.
This is like the most romantic episode that we get, I think.
Yeah.
So she calls Danny into her office, and it's so awkward.
It's really awkward.
I
but
think.
Adorable, too.
Because then she kisses him, and then she starts, like, walking into walls and stuff.
Well, she tries to take the fish tank with her, first of all.
Yeah.
That was pretty adorkable. So I like that. I thought it was a cute scene. So, yeah, I thought it was
generally
cute.
But going back to the Sam and Mallory one, like, come on. How often do you, like, kiss somebody on the mouth in gratitude?
Yeah, and in front of so many people and in such a I don't know. Yeah, it was a little odd.
I mean, I guess that probably only works in those specific situations where she wanted to anyway,
right.
And they had some amount of history, but just in general, I think that whole thing is like, what?
I agree.
Where's this going?
I agree. Their history and their situation, like, sort of works, but in real life, it might be a little awkward.
Yeah. I don't know, guys, but hey, at least we have some relationship plot points moving forward.
Yay!
So I'm excited for everyone. And then I think we get to the last scene.
Yes. Well, I don't know what the last scene is, but John, what's-his-face, sort of helps the president solve... maybe I'm out of order here, but I think that's next, because he helps the president solve this issue, and then he and Leo actually have sort of a nice moment where he calls him by his correct name and says, like, good luck, or something like that. So that was a good little wrap-up moment for him. And then the president comes into the I guess they're on the mural room, and he says, like, and I say the yay Toby Ziegler, and I say the yay Sam Seaborn, which I thought was odd. Maybe it's a reference to something that I don't get, but basically just saying they did a good job.
He was very sanctimonious. He was giving him props, but in, like, Old English.
Yeah. I'm Googling the phrase now.
But it was good. Sam needed some props. He got torn down by Leo, so I was glad that the commander-in-chief gave him some mad
much needed props.
So, whew. And then after that, the guy that was assigned to be out of the room, Bartlett starts talking to him about, okay, just in case something happens, you know what to do, right? And this guy's like, nope, no clue. And Bartlett's like, well, you gotta go to DEF CON 4, and then you gotta get together your joint chiefs and whatever. And it was actually pretty sweet when he's like, do you have a best friend? And is he smarter than you?
Yep.
And the guy's like, yeah, I do. He said, that's your chief of staff. And then, Leo overhears it.
Leo overhears it. That was a very sweet moment. And this guy presents President Bartlett with a gift, which is the Constitution translated into Latin, which is just like, dude, you couldn't have picked a better gift for President Bartlett. Like, it's old, it's Latin, it's the Constitution. Like, he did a bang-up job on that one.
Totally.
Major brownie points for this dude.
It's always impressive when you can think of a really good gift for someone that you perhaps haven't met.
Yeah.
I need to think about that.
Absolutely.
I like to bring baked goods as a general rule, but a Latin Constitution for the president is probably a better thing. He doesn't have time to work off those calories. So, did you find it? Did you find what the
it's just
I say to you?
All I can see is that it's just like ancient, old English, like you were talking about. I mean, it's just a sort of a not slang, but it's just a saying from long, long ago.
the ages of war.
Yep.
Just keeping it old school there, Bartlett. You just keep doing what you're doing because
Bartlett be Bartlett.
You like it. Oh yes. So who wins? Who won this episode?
I don't know. Who's yours MVP?
Oh man. See, I never pick them. I mean, Dr. Bartlett was great.
Yeah.
Definitely not Leo because he yelled at Sam and I didn't like that.
I agree.
Not really Josh. I mean, you could say Toby, but
I think mine is the president. He has sweet moments with Leo. He says the thing about his best friend, chief of staff, and then he goes and gives the State of the Union after having been very, very sick. And he's comedic throughout the whole thing. So I think he had an all-around great episode. So I'm giving it to the Prez.
Give it to the president.
Yep.
Bartlett. Yeah, it's either that or Sam, but I think Sam will probably have more episodes to win. So I'll agree with that. Let's give it to Bartlett.
All right.
Let Bartlett be Bartlett, I say.
Yep, agreed.
Well, I think that wraps it up for episode 12. We'll catch you guys next time for episode 13, which is...
How do we never...
Take out the trash day?
Is what?
Is it take out the trash day? I think it is.
Let's see. Is it?
Verily I say unto you, I think it is. Take out the trash day.
I don't know what take out the trash day is. Am I being a horrible fan? Take out the trash day.
It's a hilarious episode.
Yeah. I remember it. Okay. Yeah.
I think. From what I remember.
I remember.
Yes. All right.
So.
Well, stay tuned. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.